That does not necessarily mean I look for the one who is the most strict, right? Or the most conservative. Because sometimes people have those things, but they don't have good character. And the Prophet ﷺ was, as Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha described him, كَانَ خُلُقُهُ الْقُرْآنِ. His khuluq, his character was the Qur'an. Qur'an yamshi fil ard. He was a Qur'an walking on the face of the earth. Meaning what? The Prophet ﷺ was such a pleasant person. SubhanAllah. He wasn't just receiving legislation. No. There have been books written about the romance of the Prophet ﷺ. You know, the character of the Prophet ﷺ, the etiquette of the Prophet ﷺ. And you can imagine, whenever the Prophet ﷺ said, خَيْرُكُمْ خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِ, the best amongst you is he who is best to his wife. Salama radiallahu ta'ala anha says, صَدَقْتَ يَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. You told the truth, O Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Meaning what? When your wife testifies on your behalf and says, yes, he was an incredible human being. And it wasn't because the Prophet ﷺ was alive, because even after he passed away, it would still be said, Sadaqta ya Rasulullah. You told the truth, O Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because deen to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was not just legislation, was not just ritualistic in its nature. It was not just superficial in its nature. Because if you reduce deen to that, then it becomes just like beauty, just like wealth, just like other types of status. It becomes superficial in its nature, and it's no longer worth pursuit. SubhanAllah. The Prophet ﷺ was a pleasant person, right? كَانَ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ بَسَّامًا ضَحَّاكًا. This is an amazing hadith that Aisha radiallahu anha describes the Prophet ﷺ. He was always smiling and he was always laughing. And the laugh of the Prophet ﷺ was just a very large smile, right? But not only that, but Aisha radiallahu anha said, بَسَّامًا ضَحَّاكًا, which means that not only was he always smiling, he would make everyone around him smile. SubhanAllah, that's what bassam means. He wasn't just basim, bassam. Not only was he always laughing in his way, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, everyone around him was laughing, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Meaning he was a pleasant individual, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. People loved to keep his company. People were not afraid of him. People did not want to stay away from him. So when you go looking for deen, what is it that you're looking for? You're looking for the deen from the outward aspect of practice, and you're looking for the inward beauty, the internal beauty, or at least that which is apparent of it in terms of actions and character and good behavior and good morals. And those are the things that the Prophet ﷺ told us to look for. Are the other things permissible? And you would notice that when the Prophet ﷺ, he said that you could marry a person for their beauty, physical attraction, or you could marry a person for their status, or you could marry a person for their wealth, or you could marry them for their deen. You could marry them for their faith. And Rasulullah ﷺ said, فَاظْفِرْ بِذَاتِ الدِّينِ تَرِبَتْ يَدَاكَ. Choose the deen. Make the deen your basis for going out and looking. May your hands be covered in dust. And subhanAllah, this is something that the Prophet ﷺ is giving us, the mercy and wisdom of Islam. Is it permissible to marry someone for their beauty? Yes, it's permissible. Is it permissible to marry someone for their money? Where's the ATM? But the answer is yes. You don't have to put it, it's okay. The point's gone anyway. But it's permissible to marry someone. It's permissible to marry someone for their money? Yes. Is it permissible to marry someone for their status? Yes. But is it wise? No. Are these the ingredients for a long-lasting, healthy, fruitful marriage? No. Can they be factors? Yes. Can they be factors? Yes. But should they be the basis of what could become a fruitful marriage? Absolutely not, because these are things that are superficial in their nature. They can be complements to the basis, which is the deen. Right? So whenever you get married, yes, you should be attracted to your spouse. Yes, there should be an element of attraction there. There is no doubt about that. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ was not unreasonable. You know, sometimes people brag, subhanAllah, especially, you know, our dear beloved generation that came down to us and they say, you know, I married your mother without seen her one time. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, that could have been a pretty disastrous decision. Because What if the first time that you saw each other was wedding night and, uh-oh, I'm stuck. That's not good. That's not good, because the Prophet ﷺ, what did he advise the young man who came to him asking? He said, you should go and look at her. You should go look at her. Meaning what? It's not that she has to be, Miss Mecca at that time or something like that. But, she fulfills the minimum requirement of attraction. Right? You're attracted to her. That's important. Right? And at the same time, yes, some sisters, subhanAllah, you should know what you're getting into when you marry someone who's having financial troubles. If you can handle that, alhamdulillah. But if you're coming from a household where you've been spoiled your entire life, and then you go and you marry a guy who's just making ends meet, that's the ingredient for a disastrous marriage. So it can be a factor, yes, that the person's well off, that he's stable, right? And you don't want someone who's low in society and those types of things, fine. Especially if you come from a higher level of society, that can be a factor, right? We saw it with Zayd and Zaynab, both righteous people, but their level of status was a factor. It was a factor. Okay, so these can be factors, but the basis of looking for a spouse and identifying a spouse should be the things that will last forever, which are deen and khuluq and character. Right? Is it always going to be a successful marriage? No. There will be times that someone will get suckered into a marriage, and you will believe that you're marrying Mr. Right, and Mr. Right turns out to be Mr. Wrong. That happens sometimes. Look at Asiyah, alayhi salam, radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Right? Asiyah was a good woman. She thought she had Mr. Right. She thought Fir'aun was Mr. Right. Asiyah was an honorable woman even before Islam. Again, we're talking about khuluq, we're talking about character. Character shines even without Islam. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, "An-nasu ma'adan," that people are like precious stones. They're gems. خِيَارُكُمْ فِي الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ خِيَارُكُمْ فِي الْإِسْلَامِ. The best amongst you in the days of ignorance are the best amongst you in Islam. Islam does not do away with good character. Islam polishes good character. Islam, channels good character in the right direction. Right? So subhanAllah, there are some situations like that. There are, factors that come into play. But, at the end of the day, you look for what has the best chance, and you put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are so many things that come into play here. Number one, what is something that you should be doing when you want to get married? As far as ibadah is concerned. Salat al-istikhara. Now here's the funny thing. Sometimes people come and ask me, Sheikh, I want to pray istikhara and things of that sort. And then it's like, okay, can you tell me what istikhara is? So basically, you're saying you're making a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if this is good for me, make it easy for me. If it's bad for me, take it away from me. And then some people have said this to me. Some people said, but Sheikh, I don't want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take it away, even if it's bad for me. Can I just make dua for that person in particular? It's like, fine. Then what's the point of praying istikhara? Then I have and this is why, by the way, when you look for deen, knowledge is so important. This was a situation that happened with me. I'm not even making this up. SubhanAllah, when we're talking about istikhara, by the way. So I think we all can agree that with our cultures, we have some very, very weird practices when it comes to istikhara sometimes. So here I was, fresh imam in New Orleans 6 years ago, and I'm thinking to myself, SubhanAllah, I'm gonna do some matchmaking now. And people are coming to me saying, look, can you find the husband for my sister? Can you find the husband for my daughter? And then the brothers are coming to me, and and the sisters are coming to me. And subhanAllah, I'm thinking to myself, all right, matchmaking time. The problem was, of course, that every time I would find the proper match, that person would happen to be from a different country. SubhanAllah, and the parents would just not have that, right? Because we say we're not racist. We say we're not racist. But whenever someone comes knocking on your door that's not from your tribe and whose grandfather did not ride a donkey with your grandfather somewhere, it's like, no, we're not having that. We're not racist, we don't have a problem with you, but we're not having that. Right? Whereas Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu ta'ala anhu approached Bilal ibn Rabah radiallahu anhu, al-Habashi, an Ethiopian who was a freed slave, to come and marry from his family. Because we're looking for deen and khuluq, right? Who was better than Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu? So anyway, it always turned out that, we have a Desi and then we have an Egyptian. Alright, next. We have a Hyderabadi and we have someone from Karachi. Next. Didn't work out. And it's like, why is this happening? So I finally got a match going. 2 doctors, mashallah, because the girl was a doctor and the family said, our daughter is not going to marry someone who's not a doctor. I said, fine. Found him a good doctor. Everything worked out. everything, the ball was rolling. Then the next morning, I get a call from the sister. I'm all excited because this is my first time making the match as Imam in Masjid Abu Bakr. And then I get a call from the sister. And she's crying, and I said, La ilaha illallah, what happened? The guy might have said something, ridiculous. The guy might have made her upset or something like that. And she's saying, Sheikh, I prayed istikhara, and the answer was no. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wait, say that again? What do you mean the answer was no? And then she said it again, I prayed istikhara, and the answer was no. I'm like, can you explain to me this istikhara that you're praying? So she's still crying and she's explaining to me that in her culture, from her tribe, they take 6 sheets of paper, they write yes on 3 and they write no on 3. They pray 2 rak'ahs. I'm not making this up. Pray 2 rak'ahs, put the pieces of paper under your pillow, and then after you wake up, pick one up. Seriously. Right? And then how many of you have heard the one about you're supposed to see certain colors in your dreams? Yeah, see? See? That one. You probably still believe that was istikhara. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You see certain colors in your dreams. Are you crazy? Where are you getting this from? SubhanAllah. But, again, we don't understand the concept of istikhara. And then some people pray istikhara the right way, which is to pray 2 rak'ahs and to make the dua. Which is basically, again, oh Allah, if this is good for me, make it easy for me. If it's bad for me, put obstacles, between me and it. And then if the answer to the istikhara truly manifests itself sometimes in like hardcore obstacles. I'm not talking about like minor obstacles. I'm talking about hardcore obstacles. But you still insist that this is the one. So you're not responding to the, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you clear answers at one point. Everything is going wrong after you pray istikhara, but still, this is the one I want. Right? I'm going forth with it. So you need to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.